Welcome to today's video. We're going to go over Spacers Choice Edition of The Outer Worlds. Now, the OG version was beloved, but the remaster, not so much. The reason being optimization. The optimization was not so good at launch, and that had a lot of people hating on the remaster. So, we're going to go over the Spacers Choice Edition today several years later, see if it's good now. So, right off the bat, I gotta say, it seems they haven't optimized this thing with any updates. At least, not all that much. I'm on the PS5 Pro, and while the performance mode runs fairly well, the quality mode has some stutters and tearing. So, if quality is your preferred graphical setting, if it's a must, then you might want to bow out just immediately. Going back to the performance mode though, again, it runs fairly smoothly. I haven't seen any issues. There is one little, I don't know, personal gripe that I saw, which was at the very beginning when you're hiding in the tall grass. I saw like a weird texture clip, but aside from that, gameplay wise, there was nothing, there was no issue with the performance mode. So, performance mode and quality mode aside, let's go over the gameplay and the narrative quality of the game. This game is a game by Obsidian Entertainment, and it's a space RPG in the likeness of, say, Fallout New Vegas and or Skyrim. Now, don't be too excited, right? This is a game by Obsidian Entertainment, smaller studio, not being funded by Bethesda for this project. So there's some pros and there's some cons with that. But let's start with the big pro. It's not a buggy mess, you know? But at the same time, it's smaller scale, right? This is the big con is I wouldn't call this so much an open world as kind of like a series of sets in, say, like a play. So you're moving from one hub to another, from one scene to another. So, as an example, it doesn't have the same feel of, say, Skyrim, where you can go anywhere and feel like you aren't wasting time. Now, it's not like Bethesda's Starfield, where you have a bunch of huge and empty worlds. It's more like you're in a vent. You're in a confined or claustrophobic space. As an example, there's a bunch of doors in different areas that are basically just set pieces. They're completely locked. You can't interact with them. There's no lock picking them. They're just there as a set piece. They're just there so you can look at it and imagine that maybe someone lives there. Maybe. Even in, say, more open spaces, like when you're traveling from one town to another, it's kind of a bit follow the yellow brick road kind of a feel. If you veer off of the path to, say, get a closer look to, I don't know, the environment, there's no plants that you can pick to use as an ingredient or to sell off. It's just, again, it's just more set piece. Now let's go over a huge advantage this game has over a bunch of Bethesda styled RPG games, which is this game, your choices in the skill that you choose to build, those matter. So, for an example, right? I decided to make my character off of one of my favorite characters in fiction right now, Lisan Al Gaib, or Paul Atreides from Dune, right? Which basically means I put a bunch of stats into the intellect tree and into his speech. And you know what? I was rewarded with that for choosing that. I got some choices that required a certain amount of engineering or lying skill, and I was able to avoid conflicts. I was able to solve problems. I was able to choose paths that were easier. Just going off of these skills, and that was amazing. I love that. As an example, check out what happens in this clip. It's going to show how I go through a dialogue conversation to get out of having to fight anyone. You know, after I'm done being a trash panda and stealing everything first.
You damn turncoat! We saw everything! You must think me a fool. I was watching on the security cameras. You got downright... I reckon we got nothing to say to each other. You best bet... You got 1 minute. Starting now.
Here I take a look at a few of my dialogue options, and I obviously use my skill to persuade him off.
You convinced her to let us leave in peace. Listing the ills we've been done ain't exactly putting me in a mind to compromise. Don't reckon the company's gonna see it that way. Think I don't know my own responsibilities, mister? I reckon I don't see any better solution. Here, my key card. It'll get you access. Full state.
Skipping just a little later, you'll be able to see me use a lying skill and a persuasion skill in order to get a certain item I need for a quest off of her without any trouble, and at the same time use the persuasion skill to get a little extra reward from freeing her.
I am much obliged. And now, if you do not mind, I have had quite enough of this wretched place. Oh, really? And why, pray? Damn and blast. I should have seen this coming. Here, take the damned research. Tell Crane I hope he chokes on it. Good. I never trust a freelancer who works for free. Orphans. Is that what you are calling yourself now? Here. Let it never be said that I do not reward good work.
Alright, let's go over the pros and the cons. Pros: great dialogue, good characters, and meaningful choices, as well as approachable combat. Cons: lack of armor/weapon customization, not great variety. The weapon stats are a little confusing, cramped, slightly railroaded feeling, lots of set pieces that are uninteractable, straight up beyond the norm for this kind of game. Now, I gotta say, I'm a bit biased for Bethesda-like RPGs, so my personal score is an 8 out of 10. Really good. The performance isn't really a problem for me. I don't mind performance mode. It still looks fairly good to me. Trying to be a little bit more objective, if you're new to Bethesda-style RPGs or haven't played them yet, and you're not exactly sure how you feel about them, then this is not a good start for you, especially if you can't get past something like the performance on quality mode. If you need it to be the absolute best quality that it can be, then yeah, maybe play the older version of the game, or maybe check it out if you have a really strong PC that could maybe push past the need for optimization. Just so you know, though, again, on a PS5 Pro, the quality mode still has some issues, so you would need a very strong PC. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. See you next time. Like and subscribe if this was helpful.